What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. If you're watching this video, you received a ceramic coating by us, and we cannot thank you guys enough for not only investing money into protecting your vehicle, but also by supporting us and our small business. It really, truly means a lot to us. So in this video, we're gonna go over how to properly maintain the vehicle, along with many other factors that go into it, and how to really properly do it. So we're gonna get into it now. All right, guys, I'm gonna quickly go over some of the most popular questions that we get asked all the time. So the first question is how often should we wash the vehicle, and what time of day should we wash the vehicle? Now, the time of day really is very important. So you do not want to wash in the direct sunlight. So ideally you want to wash maybe in the morning, or late in the afternoon or early evening. I personally like to do it around 7 o'clock at night during the summertime, and when it's stays light out a lot longer. That's the best time to do it, in my opinion. I'm not really an early riser, but if you are, get out there 7-8 o'clock in the morning, get the car washed. That's a perfect time to do it. And then you do want to wash the vehicle at least once a month, if not more than that. We recommend every 2 weeks, but once a month will definitely, get you going in the right direction. All right, the second question that we get asked all the time, and it's such an important one, is what products and tools do I use? Obviously we made the car look absolutely beautiful by polishing it and ceramic coating it. Now your job is to make sure that it stays that way. Now, don't invest in cheap products from Amazon or wherever it may be, or AutoZone. You want to invest in high quality products. Now, all the products that we recommend, I'm going to list in the description below. It's just a basic starter kit, essentially, of basically just wash mitts and standard tools to use to maintain your vehicle. And that will also include a list of different soaps, towels, different tools, to use to really make sure that the vehicle stays looking as good as it does when you picked it up from us. Lastly, the most important thing and the most important tool that is listed down below is a really good drying towel. Now, you don't want to use like a bath towel or like a chamois or an old t-shirt or something like that. You don't want to use that stuff. Ideally, when you have a ceramic coating, the car is going to be hydrophobic. So once you do your final rinse, you want to use something like a leaf blower to really get most of that water off. That's the benefit of having a ceramic coating, is that you can dry it off with a leaf blower, and get basically 85-90% of the water off. And then you can take your drying towel and just touch up the areas, and you're basically good to go. So some shops will actually tell, obviously, like new consumers, a lot of times they don't know what a ceramic coating is or what it does. So they inquire with a bunch of different shops. They get a bunch of prices all over the place. They get misinformation. They get one guy telling you that it stops rock chips and scratches, another guy tells you one thing, and it's just all over the place. We're here to simplify the process for you, make sure that you have the right and correct information, to obviously know what the coating is going to do, how long it's going to last, how to maintain it, and that's one of the benefits of obviously going with a shop like us that's going to be upfront with you, that's going to stand behind their work. All right, guys, enough talking. Let's get in the back, and I'm going to show you how to properly wash the vehicle. All right, guys, I'm going to get into a couple things that you're going to need to wash the vehicle. Now, keep in mind, I'm going over the most basic, maintenance wash that you could do. There's going to be other tools and things like that you could use, and different methods and things like that. I'm going to keep it super as simple as possible for you guys, and make sure that you guys are understanding, basically just the bare minimum of what you need to do to really maintain the vehicle. All right, guys, so first thing that we're going to start off with is the wheels. Now, the wheels typically do take the longest amount of time, so we always start with the wheels. Some people wash the vehicle first and then do the wheels last, but for purposes of this video and keeping it super simple, we're going to start with the wheels first. Obviously, we're assuming that you're washing the vehicle outside, so you don't want to wash the vehicle first, let that water sit on there and things like that, and let the sun kind of bake that water into the paint. So that's why we start with the wheels. So you want to have a dedicated wheel cleaner, ideally. If you don't want to invest in an iron remover, that's totally fine. You can use like soap and water, you know, from like your foam cannon. You hook it up to your pressure washer or your hose, and you know, kind of rinse the wheel down with the soap and start to clean it. All right, guys, so in the description below will be these. These are really awesome because we use them for wheels, door jams, you know, under your hood, things like that. These are really, really versatile. But again, you don't want to use this on the paint. You want to have something dedicated for all the dirty parts of the vehicle. So the wheels, you know, like I said, the door jams, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead in here and I'm just going to clean the wheel, just going to kind of clean the wheel face. Now, what's nice about this is you can use it as a glove. So it's really cool. And you can get in, you know, to the tight areas. You can even get like behind the spokes and things like that. So it's really, really nice and convenient. You can even take this as a little pro tip. You can even take this and clean like this part of the wheel well as well. A lot of times like some dirt and things like that will get stuck onto here. Obviously don't use this on the paint, like I said, but you know, down here in these areas, this is completely fine. So after you're finished washing the wheel, you're gonna take your hose or your pressure washer and rinse the wheel off. Now you do want to make sure you're going to get all that soap off. You want to make sure there's nothing left on there, especially if you're using iron remover. You don't want that sitting on the wheel and drying. So make sure you rinse these wheels off very thoroughly. All right, now after all the wheels are clean, now it's time to wash the paint. Now there's a specific way you want to wash the paint. I'm going to show you here, but first things first, let's rinse off the entire vehicle. While you're rinsing, the point of rinsing is getting off any, you know, sort of debris on the vehicle, you know, leaves, you know, things like that are kind of just on the surface. You want to take this and rinse this out. A lot of times, you know, some dirt and leaves and stuff are going to get into the cowl of the hood there. You want to rinse all that off. A lot of times, like, you know, whatever, it'll get stuck on the roof and things like that. Rinse all that off. That's the purpose of your pre-rinse. It's actually very important because you don't want to start grinding all that dirt and debris, you know, into the paint while you're washing it. So this is a very important step. And a little pro tip for you guys as well. If you have a dirty vehicle that's, you know, been driven in the rain a lot, or, you know, maybe you have some mud or some excess sand down at the bottom, you want to take some all-purpose cleaner and spray the bottom and basically pre-treat those bottom sections. Again, that's a optional step, but that's something that we do because it kind of releases a lot of that dirt and grime at the bottom, you know, before you go and hand washes it, and again reduces the chance of scratching and swirling. All right, so now we're going to wash the vehicle. So this is kind of the, you know, obviously the important step here. So there's a couple different ways that you could do it. Obviously, we recommend getting a foam cannon. It's a really, really good investment. They're not that expensive. So get one of those. Throw your soap in there with some water, and you can do it that way. If you don't have access to one and you want to just do the traditional garden hose, we're going to show you that way as well. All right, so you're going to get your soap, and what you're going to do is you're going to put a little bit in your wash bucket. Now, you make sure you have a dedicated wash bucket. You don't want to use the same bucket that you used on the wheels and with all the wheel mitts and things like that in there. Keep everything separate. That's how you don't want to cross contaminate, but that's how you really mainly scratch the vehicle while you're washing it. But take a little bit of your soap, pour it in there, and then what I like to do is I'll take the end of the pressure washer and I'll dunk it in there. and that's gonna create some suds in that bucket, you know, for the lubrication. All right, so now I'm gonna take the mitt out of the bucket, make sure I got, you know, a bunch of suds on there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and back and forth motions while I'm washing. All right, you got plenty of lubrication on here, which is good. You don't want to work in dry sections and things like that. But you know, obviously, the more lubrication, the more soap, the better. So that's the first way. You want to work from the top down. So you don't want to start washing the bottom and then bring all that contamination and stuff up to the top. That's going to definitely induce scratching and swirls. So that's the first way. If you do have a foam cannon, I'm going to show you that now. Right, so foam cannon, you're going to take that and you're going to soap the whole car down just like so. All right, so same thing as, you know, the traditional garden hose way. You know, now that we foamed it down, you got all that soap and all that lubrication on there. That is obviously the better way to do it. You have way more, you know, basically less of a chance of you scratching the vehicle, you know, while you're washing. So again, working from the top down. So I like to start with the hood. I go up to the windshield. But this is a really nice way of, you know, washing the car. If you have a stool, that would be very helpful. You can get up on the roof. I have a stool, but I'll get to that in a second. So a common myth that we actually hear a lot is, you know, a lot of people come in and be like, yeah, now that I have a ceramic coating, I don't have to wash it anymore, right? I can just foam it down and rinse it off. And that's totally not the case. The soap basically just helps lubricate the surface. And it does to a degree break down some of the dirt and the grime on the vehicle, but nothing beats hand washing the vehicle. Now, if you're in a pinch, you can foam it down, rinse it off, dry it with a leaf blower, and you're good to go. But again, that's not for every circumstance. If you know, that's for, you know, somebody that's doing it maybe like, you know, twice a week or something, and they just want to get some of the dirt off, or some of the, you know, just some like maybe pollen in the spring or whatever it is. You know, that's definitely something you want to do. But hand washing and really washing the vehicle is truly the best way to keep the ceramic coating looking its best. All right, so now that I've gotten to the bottom of the door here, I've washed all the top sections first. Now that I'm doing the bottom, you always want to do the bottom last if you can. A lot of times this is where all the dirt and grime is going to be. So you can basically do one of two things. You can have a rinse bucket along with your wash bucket. You can take the mitt, dunk it in the rinse bucket, clean it all out really good, dump it back in your wash bucket, grab some suds, and you know, kind of continue on doing like these lower sections. Or you can take your mitt with your pressure washer and just kind of rinse it out. You can do that way. I recommend, you know, having a rinse bucket and a wash bucket. Get the rinse bucket and just, you know, wash that mitt out and get all that grime out of there. You definitely want to have some grit guards on the bottom. That way some of that sand and stuff stays on the bottom. You're not rinsing it out, putting it back into the mitt, and then putting it back onto the car and essentially scratching it. All right, after you have washed the entire vehicle, it's now time to rinse it off. This is also an important step. You want to get all of that soap off of the vehicle before you start drying it. You know, you want to take your either your pressure washer or your garden hose and, you know, get into these cracks, you know, and things like that, like in between the letters, you know, make sure there's no trapped dirt in there and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. One quick pointer to you guys, if you are using a pressure washer, don't get super close to the paint. You know, a lot of these newer paints, you know, they could chip. Not saying it's a huge likelihood of it happening, but again, don't get super close. Always stay, you know, always stay about 2 feet away at least. You know, you don't want to start going like this and getting super close, especially if you're using, you know, kind of like a high PSI pressure washer. Stick with something around 1800 PSI. That's going to be the sweet spot with pressure washers. Alrighty guys, last step is to dry the vehicle. So a lot of times, you know, people are like, oh, I can use a squeegee or like my old t-shirt or whatever. This is the best tool to use. I picked it up at Home Depot for, I think it was under $100. But again, you can get a leaf blower anywhere, but this is the one we recommend. It's electric, it's cheap. Obviously, if you have a batteried one, that works great too. But yeah, next step is to dry it, and here we go. Okay guys, now that we dried the vehicle with the leaf blower, that's a great tool. Gets about 90% of the water off. You may be left with you know, some stuff like this, just some excess water, you know, or kind of like here where the water's just kind of like coming out of the little cracks and crevices. So what I like to do is take our drying towel. This will be in the description. These are great. These are really high quality Korean microfiber. So what I like to do is I'll take our bead maker and I'll spray, you know, 2 or 3 sprays on each side of the towel. And then what I'll do is I'll fold it up. You can fold it in 4s, you can fold it in half, whatever, you know, kind of whatever's more comfortable for you. And just kind of touch up these areas. So it's a really good idea to lubricate the towel with something like, you know, bead maker or, you know, whatever you're using. You don't want to touch the vehicle with a dry towel, you know, especially those soft black paints or any dark color that's, you know, where the paint's really soft, it's going to scratch. So this is where most of the scratching actually happens when you're drying the vehicle improperly. So that's why take the leaf blower, get most of it off, and then take this, you know, put some lubrication on the towel, dry it up, you'll be good to go. And also a little pro tip as well, you know, here at the shop, we use compressed air. You know, we have a air compressor with one of these guns here that attaches to the air hose. These things are about 10 bucks. They're super cheap. But we use this to get in all these little tight areas as well. So it's gonna kind of, you're gonna blow out all that trapped water, and then you can go ahead in and towel up the rest. And that just kind of, you know, gets the water out of those tight areas, and that way you have less drips and things like that when you drive away, or, you know, let the car sit in the driveway. You're going to get less drips. So little pro tip for you guys, that's going to conclude the video on how to properly maintain your ceramic coated vehicle. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope this really helps you, you know, kind of maintain your coated vehicle, keep it looking good for as long as possible. And again, if you guys have any questions at all regarding, anything that we went over in this video, please give us a call, shoot us a text. We're more than happy to help you out. Again, thank you again. We really appreciate your business, and take care and have a great day.